we need to talk about certain issues, and that is what to do. What do we do? How do we approach the idea of the Ascended Master work as individuals? And that's why I brought a lot of pictures. And I don't know, probably all of you have some pictures of the Masters or something that you use as a focus. And if you saw our house, it's just one continuous collage of different images. And the images are not, they don't replace the idea of the consciousness of this work, but they give us something to focus on, because the mind tends to want something to focus on while you're doing this higher work. And even though, you know, like I say, this is Saint Germain in the Violet Flame, this is from a picture that belongs to Summit Lighthouse. And I do not have the authority to sell this picture. And I asked the Masters at one point to have some, I needed some pictures that I did have the authority to sell, because I felt that we needed to produce them so people could focus on them. And I had this series of 5 pictures done. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And they commissioned a friend of ours to do this work, mostly through Kuthumi, and I gave her every copy of different, various Saint Germain pictures, various Serapis pictures, various Kuthumi pictures, all of which are in anywhere from an actual photograph of Kuthumi to somebody's rendering of him. And I asked one day, I asked Serapis, not about this picture, but about another one that I gave her to focus on while she was drawing this. I like this one better, by the way, of him. But I asked Serapis, is this what you look like? And he said, well, not really, but it carries my vibration. And that's the important thing, is that we use these things to carry the vibration and to carry our thoughts. And there's a law, a cosmic law that says what we place our attention on, we become. So conversely, let's place our attention on what we want to become. In other words, if we want to become Ascended Masters, and that is the plan of evolution, then we want to place our attention on where we're going. Not necessarily where we've been. And I was talking to somebody about that, you know. It's easy to get caught up in reliving the past or anticipating the future. Well, the best thing we can do is be here now, because right now is going to determine our future. And the past, really, we can change that through the Violet Flame, but we have to do it in the present. So everything happens in the present. Everything is happening now. And probably that's why we call it the I Am Presence. It's not only because it's a presence, but it's because I am present. I am here. I am here. So we use these various things, like the photographs, to focus on the Masters. I learned in my process that I could ask the Masters for a decree, and they would give one to me. One day I was traveling back from a retreat conference in Montana, and I was camping on my way back. I stopped the car. I got out my drum. I got out of the car, and I wrote the first decree. It came from Kuthumi, and we call it Souls of Light. We call for all the souls of light on the planet to unite. We call for all the souls of light on the planet to unite. We call for all the souls of light on the planet to unite. And I stopped, and I said, wait a minute, that's important. I better write it down before I forget it. I just did it. It just came out of me. And then I went backwards and said, well, what is this? Where is it coming from? And I realized that it was from Kuthumi, and I realized that it was the first decree to come through me. And I learned after that I could ask for a decree, or I could create decrees, because I knew the science of the spoken word. Not everyone can do that right now, but I think we all have permission to make our calls. And we all have permission to create. Whether we have the knowledge yet or not is another story. But we do have permission to create the calls that apply to our situation and our work. And we have better authority when we're in the highest consciousness to assess what it is we need. So I went through and I started bringing through decrees. And I asked Estrella, I said, this Estrella we do at Summit Lighthouse is so long and so difficult, people can't get it. I mean, it takes 2 years to be able to have the momentum to do this decree. I asked Estrella, I said, isn't there a simpler decree we could do that would have the same effect, that would have the ability to strip away the negative self? And I got this decree. I am Estrella cutting us free, circle and sword of purity. I am Estrella cutting us free, circle and sword of purity. And I talked to Kuthumi, he said, what we want from you is decrees that people can hear 2 or 3 times and repeat. This doesn't have to be difficult. But as I was, many times I'm called upon, because of the Japanese connection, people say, can we say these in Japanese? And I said, well, not really. And that isn't because a decree couldn't be written in Japanese, but because the decree is only partly what we know to be the meaning of the words. It's also a vibrational thing. And the vibrational thing has to do with certain energies that come from certain letters and certain increments of fire. So not just anything is a decree. There's a definite science to the spoken word. So the decrees, anyone could write one. Do you have the attunement to write one? Yes, you could have the attunement, but you have to create that attunement. So the decrees are what's important, and I'm just in the process of realizing this particular thing. I call this a ticket. This is your ticket to the higher self. And the ticket is the consciousness of what the higher self really is, who we are, and this little saying on the back. It says, I am, take command of my consciousness being and world. I am, take command of my consciousness being and world. I am, take command of my consciousness being and world. Now I say that 3 times minimum because the higher self is used to us saying things all the time that if it just rushed right in and created what we ask for every time, we'd be too busy with this mess of things that I'm sick, I'm this or that. It would be creating things for us that we really don't want to see. So what it has said to us, in effect, is that if you tell me 3 times, a minimum of 3 times, what you're asking for, then you're putting me on notice that you're really serious about this, and you are asking me, the higher self, to bring this to you. So I'm saying to my higher self, take command. That is allowing them to violate my free will and say, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of your divine plan. If you don't like it, we may not speak again for a while. If you like it, I may speak a little more often. It's just simple. Whatever we do with that information determines on how fast we're going to go. How fast are we going to evolve? How many times do I have to say this? Ooh. I used to do Estrellas for 3 and 4 hours at a time. We used to decree for hours. Hours. That doesn't mean you have to decree for hours. What I'm saying is, it's better that you get consistent with a decree. Take something like this, I am, take command. This is your ticket to the higher self. I am, take command of my consciousness being in world. Internalize that for a while. And just, I'm the violet flame from Saint Germain, I'm the violet flame from Saint Germain. Internalize those decrees for a while. Eventually you become the decree, and it doesn't matter how many times you say it. You begin to become it. And then it no longer is a process that you're activating. It's a process that you're involved in. So you have to get to the point where the process takes over.